One way we can improve our day trip winter summit experience is by packing our packs and our pockets with purpose. Let's talk about how I do it. Hello again, I'm Jason. This isn't a loadout video. I did a video a number of weeks ago about some of the things we can expect when climbing in the winter, and in that video, I linked to the gear I take on a typical winter day trip summit attempt. What this video is about is, quite literally, how I pack my pack and use my clothing pockets for a winter summit attempt. That seems like a pretty small topic. Why bother? Well, because how we pack our stuff is the first step to making our transitions from moving to rest and back to moving efficient and effective. And efficient and effective rests are important for A, keeping our energy up, B, ensuring we don't drop and lose vital, and in winter, life-sustaining gear, and C, maintaining our body temperature. Next week, I'll go into the routine I use for a break in cold conditions, but none of that is possible without getting my gear in the right places in my pack and on my body. Like any time we pack for any conditions, we are trying to navigate the twin needs of weight distribution and keeping our most used items accessible. But in the cold, we need to realize that our most used items are going to change, and we are also needing to consider insulation. So I start with what needs to be kept warm. Well, first is food and water. Almost all food has some water content and so can freeze. That can make it awfully hard on your teeth and jaw, or even make it impossible to take in calories. So food goes in my pockets. We put them in our thigh pockets. Water needs to either be in a drop pocket or an insulated sleeve. I typically keep mine in a sleeve unless I'm going to extreme altitudes and the extreme cold that brings. We'll come to where I put it in my pack in a moment. If I carry a lighter as a fire starter, that needs to be in a pocket too. Other water-containing items like sunscreen and lip balm go in my pockets. For me, a guy who films stuff, I also keep batteries in my pockets, as particularly rechargeable batteries don't do well in the cold. So think about your electronics if you have things like rechargeable headlamps or GPS devices or your phone. One drop pocket will have my fuel canister if I'm not taking a liquid fuel stove. And I will typically use drop pockets to store my spare gloves. I want something that is being warmed, in this case by my body heat, to stick my hands into should I need to warm them up. That can feel like a lot, and feeling so bulky may take some time to get used to. Now, turning to my pack, if it isn't going to be actively snowing while I'm moving, I begin by lining my pack with my shells. While not super insulating, it does help, and it also adds a barrier of water protection from melting snow if your pack isn't fully waterproof. Now, I throw in my ultralight tent, mattress, and quilt. I hope I don't need to use this stuff at all, and it's enough for survival, not comfort. Next will be either my stove or my technical climbing gear, if the climbing demands technical gear. Both are heavy enough to warrant a place near the bottom of the pack for load distribution, so whichever one I am likely to use first goes on top. If I have a super long approach and might actually stop to make more water before I can put on the climbing gear, then the gear goes below and the stove goes on top. If not, vice versa. Next goes my first aid and repair kit. In warm months, this goes all the way at the bottom of my pack as a thing I hope I don't use. But in the winter, I keep hand and toe warmers in there. If I need those warmers, it could be because my hands aren't doing well. I want to make these more accessible if my dexterity is compromised by the cold. Now I put in my outer puffy or belay jacket, the thing I'm going to wear when I'm not moving. I put it in halfway and open. Now I drop in my insulated water sleeve and fold the jacket over it. This makes my water pretty accessible. At each stop, I'm going to throw on the jacket anyway, so having the water folded in only protects it more from the cold. If I do have to keep water in a drop pocket because of supreme cold, I'll switch out the fuel and wrap that in my big jacket. The outside of the pack is for sharp things like crampons and my tools or axe. Sometimes I'll sling my helmet, but I'll typically just wear it in the winter, particularly if I have a base layer with an under-helmet hood. And I keep my foam pad on the side straps because A, it's too light to throw the weight off, and B, sometimes I'll use it during a break, as we'll discuss next week. So that's how I pack up for a winter day summit attempt. You'll notice our reliance on body heat for keeping things warm. Have you ever had food, water, or an item accidentally freeze on a cold day? What was it? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com, and you can check out this video on just what I wish I knew about jackets before I started buying them. A lot of that has to do with needing all these pockets I've mentioned. We also have this entire series about managing in the cold. We'll see you next week, and keep on getting more out of that big outside.